Hey, welcome back. We're talking about race relations in America, race relations in Toledo, Ohio. Our guests this morning are the Reverend Karen Shepler, Dr. Earl Murray, Mr. Robert Torres. You know them all. As we went to break, we were talking about something that came from Karen's point a little earlier, and I would have you know that Karen said during break, and I am here to support her in this, what she says is not who she is on this particular point. She's talking about a community perception, or a community discussion, actually.
Actually, a community discussion with a major funder in our community.
Right, United Way is who we were talking about.
You named it.
Yeah, hey, yeah, we put it all on the table here. So I left you with this. White folks are saying, major funders are saying, I'm tired. We're putting money into the community, and we're still getting this whole process of, I'm a victim, you owe me, you need to support me. I read an article just this morning, in fact, by Ben Carson, who's a neurologist, black, internationally known. From Detroit, absolutely. Who said there does exist in the black community and the brown community this idea that we are owed something. And this is from a black man, a very successful black man. Responses?
Yeah, I would refute that in our Latino community, because the actual position of many Latino families is we take care of our own. And so we seldom go for public service or for
any needs. And that is exactly the perception.
And, raised in a family of 13. When my father was underemployed, he just got additional work, and so we never did go to get social services, and that's just the pride in the family, the pride in the Latino community. So when people point that out, I look at the 11 million undocumented in this country that if they were to become citizens, would add in another $300 billion into our Social Security tax fund. And so we're talking about people who choose to actually raise their family, grow the family in this country, participate in the economic prosperity, and give back.
And I am so glad you said that, because from my point of view, racism based on the color of skin is really not ever the issue to me. It is always about economics. This country is based on economics. That's it. Slavery was an economic issue. Right. It wasn't a I want to own a black person issue. It was an economic issue. And if communities could better marshal their financial abilities, their financial status, the money that they manage, let me just say that, we would have I think so many of these issues would go away.
There is not and never has been the sufficiency of money to manage what needs to be managed in the minority community.
Dr. Murray, the amount of money in the African American community is staggering. It's staggering. We spend more on hair care products than any other race in any other group of people on this planet. Yet we don't own most of those businesses that we buy from.
It's ironic, and not even know what the topic's going to be this morning. And you're talking about Dr. Carson, a person that I read about and respect. There's a book out called Black Rage, written by two psychiatrists,
I know that.
Greer and Cobb.
Yes.
And that book is applicable right now in terms of what is happening throughout the minority community, and especially the black community, with respect to money and being owed something. Whites seem to believe that blacks are incapable of managing, and very few times will you find blacks around the round table with white folks who are making decisions about black people.
I would agree with that. But I also would like to point us back to Mr. Torres's point about the importance of self-sufficiency. What you see happening and please correct me if I'm wrong.
I'll throw out a book. A good friend of mine, Richard Herman, out of Cleveland, Ohio, documented just episode after episode of immigrants coming into this country and starting their own businesses because of a culture of self-sufficiency, a culture of I'm going to make it no matter what it takes. You see it here in Toledo, a number of entrepreneurs that have started with their own money. And today, I still try to teach folks to, go and get lenders to support your project versus use your own money. But it's that spirit of entrepreneurship that is driving them. And so I say that what we need to do as leaders in this community is to support more of that. You know, the solution to Dorr Street, Monroe Street, to Main Street and Broadway, all corridors coming into our downtown, is our leaders supporting entrepreneur investment along those corridors. And I'll say this. When you look at some of and this goes back to who the leaders are or who are at the table making those decisions. Because when you talked about PIC, the workforce investment, when the Workforce Investment Act came out, you know, the PITAs, the CETA programs and the PIC programs that we knew that served our central city, then got relegated to more suburban focus because it became a Lucas County, a county-wide program. You look at the Department of Development that changes focus from small business and minority investment to now Jobs Ohio, where they're not accountable for showing where investment is happening in our community.
Bob,
we need to
right.
become a voice.
You're so right. I couldn't disagree with you 1 iota. But there are so many decent, highly capable, white individuals, male and females, who could change that. So please don't be misguided when I say white. They're wonderful, highly intelligent white, but they can't get elected and they can't get into position because we recycle the same people back based upon a variety of reasons that we don't have time to talk about today, and we need a change of the guards. And we need individuals in the office who's going to make a difference. There are individual whites, Latinos, and blacks who could change the climate and things that need to be changed in Northwest Ohio, and it's not happening here.
Yeah,
it is a pitiful state that we're in Northwest Ohio, and it's not going to get any better, and I apologize.
Please. I didn't mean to interrupt. We just never have enough time on this show. But so does any of this change by talking about it?
No.
Does any of it change by talking about
No.
it?
Absolutely not.
I agree.
No matter what party you belong to, it shouldn't make a difference. It shouldn't make a difference. What should make a difference is that you evaluate the individuals who are running for office to determine what contributions, if any, they have made in this community to change this community from its blighted and otherwise conditions. And if they're not doing that, vote them out.
I agree. Karen?
I think it's all about relationship. And I've said this through my whole ministry and through everything else. I think we elect people who say they represent the people, but then they get in office and they represent themselves.
I said evaluate.
And so I think the way that I've seen things happen here is when people like us sit down at a table and we say, this is what needs to happen, and this is how we're going to get it to happen. And then we pull together people who we know believe what we believe and are action people, not talkers, and not politicians.
We have a lot of people who walk in lockstep and are sycophants.
Donnie, I think you nailed it on the head. You know, there was one time I was in a meeting with minority leadership, and I said, you know, what a shame it would be that we're at a moment in time where we have a black mayor, we have a black president of city council, we have a black president on the school board, and 3 black members on the school board. And if we, at the end of the day, will say we didn't have an impact on our black community, then that is truly the reason why we're in the position that we're in. I think you hit it when you said the communities of color are going to have to own up to a lot of the issues of our community and begin to take leadership and drive it and insist that they become part of the decision making.
Absolutely. Accountability. I mean, God bless the child who has his own. I mean, that is really what it's all about. You cannot expect people that you put in office to support your interests if you don't hold them accountable.
Absolutely.
If we don't hold them accountable. And I remember one process in town. There was a group called Middle Passage PAC that I belonged to, so I know that group well, that worked very hard to hold elected officials accountable. But generally we don't. We work these campaigns, we put them in office, we don't require specificity from them during the campaign, you know, and they get there and we're shocked when they don't do something to change things.
But if they fail to deliver, we need to remove them from office.
And who do you replace them with?
someone.
There's part of the problem. I don't think that we build social and political capital in our minority communities the way that we need to.
Right.
And that goes for reasons why white funders are saying I'm not putting money there anymore. The capacity has not been built, and the white folks I think have a responsibility to do that as well. You know, but
If
I think
you're talking
that
about city employees, the city charter, the home rule city charter
1 minute.
is
I'm not
dated.
talking about but I'm not talking about charters. I'm not talking about city employees. I'm talking about our communities.
Right.
And
Right.
and no matter what you say, I'm going to go back to white privilege. This city is run by white people. When the money is withdrawn, it's white money that's withdrawn. When the project is put into effect, it's usually a white male who's put it together. You know,
We need another session with the three of us or anyone else who want to call in and challenge us, because I would welcome the opportunity for that to happen, so that we have more time to talk about this community, since she made it local.
That's going to have to be the last word. Daggone it, we ran out of time. You guys have got to come back. We got to go away for just a second. We'll be right back.